Cheers.
Cheers. Well, it's that time again.
I'm Susan.
Oh, I'm Annie.
And this is
Two friends.
but just one chat.
One chat.
There's really lots of chats, but like this episode is just one chat of many chats.
Oh my gosh, it's so true. It's so
Right?
true. And welcome. Super excited you're here with us
welcome
today.
back.
We get to talk about something a little bit lighter.
Yes. In the vein of the last few episodes, but I think this is definitely going to be like the lightest. A little clinical, but way less clinical, I think, than last episode.
And a real conclusion off of where we left off. So we're on like a little kind of set, right? We talked about attachment styles 2 episodes ago.
Yep.
We talked about one of my favorite, it's called trust-based relational interventions. And it's one of those ways, it talks a lot about parent-child relationship, but how you can really go to connection first. Connection.
Which is similar to attachment.
It is.
See where we're going here, guys? We've got a little theme for you.
Yeah, we're really building on that, right? So we learned our attachment styles. We learned that you can build to healthy attachment. That's the biggest lesson you've got to walk away from. Then we talked about exploring TBRI and learning those skills to mirror healthy attachment with other people.
Right.
Beautiful. It's like so amazing. Today, we get to focus on one of the principles of TBRI in the correction vein.
Right.
So, we've done connection before correction, and it is the redo. And it is
hashtag redo.
Yeah. I kind of added the hashtag. I don't necessarily think that came strongly from the curriculum.
No, it's a thing, though.
Yeah.
I mean, we're starting a thing.
Now
so
it's a thing.
Jump on. Jump on.
And it is probably one of the coolest principles. And you really touched on it when you were like, I need to like almost TBRI myself before I can do it for other people. It is giving yourself that permission to have a redo. Because what a redo says is like, no one's going to act their best in fight or flight or freeze. Like, you got that. Your brain overproducing those stress chemicals, right? So hashtag throwback, your happy chemicals, the balance is off.
Yeah.
Flowing through as you've got that like, dysregulation, right?
Yes.
And so the whole principle of redo is to recognize that. Either get the person you're working with to baseline, or yourself.
Yourself to
baseline.
Case,
right? Get yourself to baseline. And then empower the redo, which is like a do-over, right?
Stinking love do-overs.
Right.
Now, I didn't.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean,
I was
also
younger.
knew no principles of the redo, right?
Right,
It was like if you fucked up,
you're done.
you got hit, right?
Yeah.
Like that was my mentality of like, or you got ostracized. There was like 2 options.
Yep.
So this whole theory of a redo has to do with keeping like relationship together. Like it is the opposite of putting someone out for doing something wrong. Instead, it's recognizing no one is their finest with cortisol coursing through your veins and brain. No one. So let's do this. Let's get us back to baseline and let's try that again.
Because what's the point of a redo if you're not back at base? Like, if you don't get yourself back to baseline or calmed down or regulated, whatever you want to call it, like, it would be almost impossible to think that your behavior would be changed or corrected when you try it again.
Yeah. And exactly. And it changes. You're not the problem. You didn't fuck up beyond natural means, right?
Right.
What happened was you went to, maybe you haven't addressed some childhood stuff.
Right.
Your brain was telling you to fight when you didn't need to. So let's get back to baseline. Let's unpack what happened, and then let's retry it.
Yeah.
And that is the most empowering thing I think you can give someone. It also makes kind of, not to say, like, because you are responsible for your choices.
Of course.
Right?
Of course.
Absolutely. And we'll talk a little bit farther in the episode, like, sometimes you don't just get to do a redo, there are reparations.
Sure. Yeah.
But the principle is getting yourself or someone you're working with to that baseline first. Mm-hmm. That is the absolute priority. Can you re-talk about your HALT principle?
HALT, yes.
I love this.
So I think, and I'm sure at some point, maybe when I was working in daycares or something, this came up. Honestly, don't remember where I learned it or heard it. But the idea that when you're upset to halt, to stop, and HALT, the HALT just stands for check to see if you're hungry, angry, lonely, tired. Mm-hmm. Check some of those, like those physical things to see if you need one of those things to get yourself back to baseline or calm. Because sometimes you really just need a snack or a nap.
Oh, nap is mine.
Or both.
There has been so many times where I've, like, seen myself snap. Of course, I apologize for it right away because I'm a pretty, like, hardcore people pleaser.
Yeah.
And then I take a nap and I'm like, oh, actually, I'm really sorry. Like,
yeah.
I was out of control.
Right. Now I truly want to be sorry and recognize.
Yeah. Or, like, you know,
yeah.
let's do date night because... you know, something like that, because you're like, oh, I really,
let's retry that conversation, but back at baseline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think my favorite part about a redo is it really honors that you do actually have to go back and redo what you were doing.
Yeah.
So you don't get to, like, kind of, like, put your head in the sand. Now we just avoid that topic altogether. So let's say finances are a really common one.
Ooh, love this.
Like, you know, couples, like, fight about finances all the time.
All the time.
Let's say you go in with, and maybe you're like, you, like, let it stew, right? You've just, that's super common, you guys, in relationships, yeah.
Smell it. Mm-hmm. Smell it stewing.
Mm-hmm. And what do we know about it? It's not great.
It's not great.
So, you just go off on your partner, right? Like,
yeah.
And maybe it's even kind of aggressive. And you're like, I can't believe you did this. Or, you know, something like that. Like, it's just...
Yeah.
It's too much.
How could you have gone and bought a PlayStation?
Oh, yeah.
When we have...
This feels specific.
Oh, you know, X, Y, and Z to pay.
I love that so much, right? And then... Like, but the redo is saying, like, maybe you approach the conversation wrong, but it's also saying that conversation is worth having.
Yes.
Yeah, like, it's so it's a really, and important conversations, high stress ones, probably aren't always going to go well because they're hard to have.
Yes.
Like, especially if you're coming from two levels of different attachment styles, those are going to clash, right? Like, and maybe you guys haven't done work on that. Which is totally fine.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you have to, like, get a divorce or anything. Like, but redos are so important. Like, this theory of it's good to have those conversations.
Right.
If it gets fucked up because one of you is hungry, tired, angry, or has unaddressed like, attachment stuff, do the work, have the redo.
Right. That it's not totally over.
Absolutely.
Just because you blew up and things went wrong doesn't mean that's it. It's all over. We're done. I'm done.
Yeah.
There is such thing as a redo.
Oh, man. And it is such a cool thing you can model for your kids. Because, you know, you're going to ask your kids to have a redo, right?
Yeah.
Or, you know, like, I'm thinking of this in, like, parent-child relationship. Because, you know, your kids are going to be kids and be naughty.
Yeah.
And you're going to get them to baseline. And then you're going to, you know, talk them through some stuff maybe. And then say, hey, let's do a redo. And so they're going to do it right. But then you fuck up as a parent. And you can model that. And you can say, wow, mom really needs a redo. Because I was mean. I'm sorry. I'm going to go make sure my needs are met. I'm going to take a nap. I'm going to take a break. I'm going to do what I need to do. And then I'm going to try this again.
Yeah.
And just that modeling of, like, it's okay to be imperfect, but you are responsible for your actions. And those two things at the same time, right? And you're still a great parent.
Yes.
And relationship is worth staying.
Yes.
So it's like, the redo to me is just this beautiful ultimate balance of humanity and relationship.
Yeah.
So, like, you know, we say this all the time, relationship is everything, and it is survival. So it's really modeling that for your kids, for your partner. You can even model it for your partner. Like, yeah. You can just be like, hey, this is a super important conversation, and I acted poorly. Let me go meet my own needs.
Yep.
You know me. This is what that looks like.
Yep.
I'm going to come back, and I would really love a redo.
Yeah, I'd love to try it again.
I want to try again, yeah. Now, what a redo isn't is an excuse for bad behavior over and over again.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's really important that we talk about. Yeah.
Yeah, that you can't just hashtag redo to be a a-hole.
And like, exactly. Yeah. That's really, really important. And if you're the only person accepting redos over and over and over again, it can be kind of almost like a hashtag, an indicator, like those mental health indicators, that like if it's just your partner being like, I need a redo, right, then that may be an off-balance relationship. Either you don't have space to fully express yourself to even fuck up, to have, you know, like, or you know, maybe that person might be taking advantage of you a little bit. So a good thing to measure. A healthy relationship will have redos on both ends.
Yeah.
Like So, just like a healthy parent-child relationship will, too. So, like, an interpersonal one.
Redos on both ends. I do have to say,
balance.
There was nothing I wanted to hear more, as more of like a young adult, early 20s, than I'm sorry from my parents.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And not even like for your whole childhood. Just like, as a person, like, you did something that was not nice.
Yeah.
Like, so I just want to say, as a child of parents, like, if you are a parent, please apologize when it's needed.
I'm sorry, I need to redo.
In front of your children, so that they know it's okay, one, to mess up.
Yeah.
Two, here's how you take care of a mess up, right?
Yeah.
You apologize for it, and then we try again.
Yeah.
Like, this is just so important for yourself, but also to model for your kids.
And I think, you know, if that feels like, if you're having a big reaction to that principle of like, you know, like kids, I hate to use this term, but I think it will help for the example, but like kids are subordinate, right?
Yeah.
They're smaller than you. They are less brain developed than you.
Of course.
And if you feel like you're losing some kind of control or power in doing that, modeling a redo, I would say explore that in therapy, because this actually won't offset the power dynamic.
No.
And I know if that is the lens you're viewing it through, and that's the reaction that's kind of coming up, look into that.
Yeah.
Because I promise you it won't. If anything, it will make peacekeeping in your home and in your relationships so easy, because, again, it's going to kind of honor the fact that no one's perfect, and it's totally okay to need a redo.
No parent is perfect. Yes. You are going to mess things up. Yes. You're going to do things wrong. You're going to make the wrong choices sometimes.
Yep.
That is just being a human. I mean, that is just life.
It is life.
So just own it.
Yep.
Just set those examples. And I think we can do that just as adults with each other as well. It doesn't always have to be that parent-child.
Absolutely.
But just kind of, just showing anyone you come in contact with, like, hey, I messed up. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
I'm going to go take a walk or go, grab some lunch, and then let's try that again.
Yeah. And what I love about, and you don't have to use the tool of labeling it if you don't want to.
Right.
I have found the tool of labeling redo helpful, because it kind of like, I don't know, maybe had a sense of normalizing, because I didn't have good conflict skills, conflict resolution skills modeled for me as a kid, So having the tools to be like, oh, I really need a redo.
Yeah.
Can actually be really helpful.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but again, you don't have to use it. It can be as basic as like, hey, I'm pretty escalated. I'm going to go take a walk and have a snack.
Yeah.
Let's try this again.
Yeah.
And that's actually great in work relationships.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I actually really, I love redo just sounds, honestly, it sounds kind of fun.
Oh, I do love it.
Sounds a little fun. Like, ooh, we got to try this again.
Yeah.
Like, it's not over. I get another shot. And I think a lot of, our type A, right, black and white thinkers, like, you mess up, it's over.
Yep.
You got a D on that test. You've now failed that test. You failed the class. You're not going to graduate, right? Aww. You just, like, black and white.
Spiral.
Just woo, woo, woo. When it's like, oh, well, let's try that again. Let's see if I can try that test again. Or, let's say it's not you can't take that test again, but you haven't failed the whole course yet.
Yeah.
Right? You redo in the next circumstance that comes up. You do it differently.
I think you just touched on something so powerful about the redo. Is like, a redo implies that the relationship doesn't end.
Right.
So, like, it's that security in knowing that you messed up. But the redo is always possible.
Yeah.
So, like, you can never fail the class, right? I mean, now, please note, like, there are things that you can do to damage relationship with other people so they can't have you in their inner circle again. That totally happens, right?
Agreed.
But, like, you've got this partner, you guys have committed to each other.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of the power of the redo. It's like, I flunked this test.
Yeah.
I flunked this quiz. But I always get to come back and retry it.
Yeah.
And, like, so it's the opposite of ostracizing out of relationship. And, like, that's, like, such a powerful, beautiful thing that, like, you can retry.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God. I love the idea of a redo.
I think if you don't have, like, one of these healthy relationships, and let's say you did mess something up so bad and that person is gone, I think you can still use that principle of redoing it differently, like, with yourself, with that next partner, maybe. Like, still learning.
Yes.
Learning from it. Like, hey, Susan, that being clingy did not work.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So, like, regulate yourself around your clinginess, what's going on.
Yeah. Let's look into that.
Let's figure that piece out, and then let's redo relationships differently.
Yeah.
Because that's not working out for either of us, right?
And I love the idea of looking into, because you're not wrong for being clingy, right? Remember,
right.
That was not your fault.
It was needs that...
Survival.
Yes.
These were your survival skills. Yep. Gosh, I wish, and I'm not sure 20-year-old Annie would ever listen, but I wish I could have taught her to explore the idea of different survival skills.
Yeah.
You know, and again, I got there with pure honesty. Like, you know, like, and I just had maybe non-pro-adaptive, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so, and I think you were right about me being kind of avoidant in my 20s, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So.
But I also want to say, I don't think you're ever too old for redo either.
Oh, no.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I think of, like, what if right now your parent was willing to do, or mine, a little bit of work, right?
Hell yeah.
They could redo right now if they wanted to.
Dude, I'd be stoked for them.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's never too late.
Yeah. Never.
In those types of, like, relationships. You know what I mean?
Ever too late to model the redo for people that you love.
Yes.
Never. It's the greatest thing.
Yeah.
And you can even say, hey, I actually learned something and I want to start trying it.
Yeah.
Because I think it will help our relationship.
Yeah.
That's a huge gift to give someone. That's amazing.
Look how excited we're getting about redos. I
just want to empower people to just feel like they can do the redo.
Yeah.
I mean, there are many selling points of TBRI to me. Many. But one of the things I really took out for my own personal self was this power of redo, and that, it's fine. That anyone will mess up.
Yes.
Especially in high stress situations. Oh. And the other thing is like, you are also never too old for a redo, because you could actually, maybe you have like this great secure attachment and you're just like rocking it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you have just this beautiful balanced mental health. And then, like, life circumstances will happen. Maybe you lose a parent. Maybe you lose a child. Maybe you get a divorce, like a surprise divorce. You know, like, there are life circumstances that will add stressors that will put us in situations where we're not going to be our best.
Yes.
And that is both okay and life.
It totally is.
So the idea of a redo just is like so hopeful, because it means like the mistakes that you make won't sever a relationship. Now it may need some, people may have to draw some boundaries with you. Please note, we respect that. But the redo gives us this power to not feel ostracized.
Yeah.
And to like,
to really bring us back into relationship with each other. That's the whole point of the redo, right?
I just got goosebumps when you said that.
We're continuing or trying to be back in relationship and connected with someone. Because if you weren't connected and you didn't care about the relationship, you wouldn't want to redo.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Bye. Yeah.
Exactly.
So the whole point is that you want to be in connection.
Yeah.
And or are.
Yeah.
And you want to do better.
It really speaks
or do different.
Yeah.
I don't even like better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it also speaks to like your value of the worth of the other person.
Yes.
Like.
Yes.
Yeah. So redos are so powerful. And it is just that. Let's loop us back to that connection.
Are worth a redo.
Yes.
Ooh.
Like
now I'm gonna get goosebumps.
Right? I value you so much that I recognize that I messed up.
Yeah.
That I hurt you.
Yeah.
Can I have a redo? And this doesn't mean like this is not a grand gesture, right? This isn't like you cheated a bunch and you're trying to like get them back with a guitar and wand. No. This is like, I snapped at you because I was mad and that hurt your feelings. So this is that kind of redo, right? And I love that because it so speaks to the value of the other person. And maybe you do like add some reparations in there when it's an interpersonal relationship, right?
Sure.
Like, because that also is like, this is how I value you. I messed up.
Yeah.
I want not just a redo. I also want you to know, like, here's your favorite snack, or
right.
Like, let's watch the movie you want to watch. Like,
yeah.
Something. Like, let's.
And to me, honestly, jumping back to the TBRI, that sounds a lot like empowering. Like you're trying to get that person you hurt back to their baseline.
Yeah.
Which might mean you've got to do some things more than just apologizing, right?
Yeah.
You need to help kind of fix that.
Yes. Yep. Got to do some reparations.
Fix that thing that you hurt.
Yep.
And then redo the situation, conversation.
Yep.
Whatever it is.
Which it's funny now that you phrase that. I think it really does have to go back to what you said about you're really demonstrating, I want relationship with you.
Yeah.
Like, and kind of back to the TBRI principle of that self-guided play.
Yeah.
Sometimes to show that you want connection with someone, you let them have self-guided play. So that kind of might be, because I think, because I've also studied like domestic violence and stuff like that, I always am like, oh, if somebody fucks up and brings you like flowers, that's a bad sign. And if they hit you and then they bring you a present, that is a bad sign. We need to talk about that. It's a different conversation.
Yeah.
But there is a certain level of self-guided play to show that you're connected with someone. So like in an interpersonal relationship. Yeah. So like, hey, show that person that not only do you want to redo because you were a dick, which by the way, everyone is a bitch and a dick.
It happens.
Like,
yeah, we've all done it.
We've all been inappropriate. Yeah. Like, everybody. But let's show that person that we want to be in relationship with them.
Yeah.
A great way to do that, let them lead the play. What do they want to do? Like, join them and genuinely care about that activity.
Yeah.
Super cool way to tell your partner, I'm sorry I messed up.
Yeah.
Again, if it's the pattern of getting hit and then that, no.
Then no.
Boo, that's off balance. We got to talk about that.
Yeah.
But in like making reparations in a relationship is great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It also, not to bring it down, but it also makes me think of some relationships that, like family maybe that doesn't apologize even after they know they've hurt you, right? And doesn't try to make any sort of reparations or redo. Like that's saying something.
It is
right.
Saying something.
That is speaking volumes. And I think when you're not the one that needs to do the redo, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't make someone do a redo, right? So I think as hard as it is, it's okay to recognize that like that is just not a healthy relationship. and I need to kind of step away from that family member and let them do them, and I'm going to do me, and yeah. So even realizing if you're not experiencing these things with someone, that's telling you something.
Volumes.
Yes? Okay.
Oh my gosh. It's so right. I mean, unfortunately, the inverse is true, right?
Yeah.
If you're using the principle of redo, you don't have to label it. But if you're using the principle, you're modeling all these things. I want you in relationship with me. You have exceptional value. I have exceptional value. I'm worth being in a relationship with, right?
Yeah.
You're saying volumes in doing this.
Yes.
The inverse, unfortunately, is also true.
Yeah.
And that's when #boundaries, man, #throwback are so important, because if someone is modeling for you that inverse, we should consider not keeping them in our social support system.
Right, because recognizing that you are worth it. So, like, stop, and I'll be honest, I am talking to myself right now, listeners, to just continue to put yourself in a situation that isn't working, that you know is going to be hurtful to you, whether it's meant to or not. Like, knowing that you are worth stopping that cycle, right?
Yes.
I can't change you. I can't make this interaction any different with you, but I'm not going to keep putting myself here, because I'm worth not being triggered and hurt, and right? Mm-hmm. So loving yourself enough to just step out of that. And like you said, that doesn't mean the relationship is over forever, right?
Love that.
There's always that chance to come back into the connection.
Hell yes.
And do all of that work and redo it. So there's not this like totally gone, but I'm going to stop putting myself in relationship with you.
I'm just doing a dance
because I'm worth it.
I'm just like vibing out so hard.
But that's hard, and I'll be honest, like that is something I very recently learned and have started putting into practice with some relationships.
Good for you.
So,
yeah, you're
just
spot on.
Thinking of this and how fun and interesting and hard, but like how much, like, I would love to do this with someone, right? Like, the idea of redoing is just making me, like, super excited for those relationships, right? But it just kind of is, I think, cementing for me that I made the right choice in some other relationships. Yeah.
And I love the idea of, like, because we always talk about how mental health can be fun.
Yeah.
And you're right, because when you're with someone you love, and I think for me personally, if I fuck up or I snap or I, act poorly, which totally happens, right?
Yeah.
Like, both Aaron and I have pretty high stress jobs, so you're not going to always be your best.
No,
it's just a part of life. It's so much better to instead hate myself for the way I acted, which is old Annie, right? Like, if I messed up, I was like, I'm the worst, I'm dirt. Which, by the way, isn't fair to your partner either, because now they're left trying to pick up their hurt feelings and the fact that you hate yourself, right?
So when you're the one that did the thing.
Yeah. And if that pattern is consistent in your relationship, it's totally worth addressing, right? But the cool idea about a redo is I don't hate myself.
Right.
In that. Like, and I recognize I need a redo, and I need to honor and, like, do something, like, fun and cool with my partner to, like, bring us back to that connection point. So it takes all the self-hate out of it.
Yes.
And it does become fun. When you're with the right person and you mess up, it does suck. Like, I don't love that. Nobody loves hurting their partner's feelings. Like, you know what I mean? If you do love hurting your partner's feelings, see a therapist.
Yeesh.
#red flag. Like for reals though, talk to somebody because there are stuff that you are not a bad person, but there's stuff at play you need to address.
You got some stuff.
It's like really important you address that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just removes that, and all of a sudden, I still do like struggle when I snap. Like I don't love it, but it does make it kind of fun because then all of a sudden you're like, well, we'll do something fun together.
Yeah. And
I'll apologize, and then we'll get back to that connection point.
Yes.
It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
It can be
great.
But
it's not just a spiral down. It's just like ooh.
Yep.
It's like you stubbed your toe.
Yeah. damn it.
Right? It's not like I fell in a hole.
Exactly.
I will see you in 2 months.
And now you have to help me get out of the hole.
Now you get me out of the hole.
Even though I also hurt your feelings. Yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. So, yeah, I mean, and some of that, I had to do, like, work on myself to not be that person. Because I've totally been that person, even with Aaron. So it's not a hopeless situation by any means. But it's a pattern to pay attention to.
And it's so true. It's so true when, like you're saying, like, old us would have been like, you know, I'm the worst, I'm not worth it, you shouldn't be with me, all of these things, right? Absolutely. And now it's just like, I feel really crappy that I did that thing. Mm-hmm. Let me fix myself, and then I'm gonna fix this.
Because I took a nap, I ate some food, I regulated myself, so now I'm not needing. So it's this interesting thing. If you take a moment to regulate yourself, you don't now need your partner to co-regulate you, which is their responsibility. Right. Somehow. I use in quotes. It's not good that it's their responsibility, even though you also hurt their feelings. Right. So it's this interesting balance of, like, if you hurt somebody's feelings, halt. Yeah. Take care of your business.
Yeah. Are you hungry? Eat something. Are you angry? Find your tools to calm down for that anger, right?
Find your bandolier tools.
Well, like, what is that? You need to go write or draw or...
Take a walk.
Love it. Right? Mm-hmm. Are you lonely? Maybe you need a hug from somebody. Maybe you need to go pet the dog. Maybe you need that, like, weighted blanket. I think even, like, physically, that pressure can sometimes help with loneliness because you're feeling something physical.
Loving this, yes.
Right? Am I tired? I'm going to go take a little 20.
20. I need a 20.
Between 20 and 30 is the best nap time. I've read a million articles on it.
I never nap longer than 30 minutes. Yes.
20 to 30.
It's the greatest feeling.
Go take yourself... My new thing sometimes... Yeah. Well, and this might be my medications, but I'll get to places... Because I'm so early. Yeah. I'll get to, like, clinic early or a home visit earlier.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I will just set a little alarm. Just put the seat back. Little nap. Bam! Ready to go.
That's me too. I love that. And sometimes I don't even nap. I just have to go lay down.
Oh, I love that. It's not even a full nap.
Yeah, the sensory
You
stuff.
just need to stop. Mm-hmm. So it could even be that. Anyway, so check that HALT for sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Did we do all of them? Because I love that you're giving specific tools to each HALT.
Yes. Hungry, eat, angry.
Oh, tired, yeah.
Pull your tools. Mm-hmm. Lonely, hug, pet the dog. Call a friend, whatever you need to do, right, to get back into...
That you're not alone.
Yeah, that you're not alone.
You are not alone.
You're not. Mm-hmm. And then tired, nap, or just like you said, rest. Yep. Doesn't have to be true sleep.
Yeah.
It could just be...
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I love that. I think that's great. And perfect tools. But then, yes, and then it can become kind of fun to come out to your partner.
Because your brain can work again.
Yeah, and you're like, oh man, I messed up.
Yeah.
And that's totally my responsibility. How can I make it up to you?
Yeah.
Can we redo?
And I think it'll help you recognize why you snap. Like, man, I'm so sorry. I yelled at you. During my rest, I realized it was because work really sucked. And I brought it home with me. Yeah. And that's my fault, and I'm sorry. How can I fix that with you? What fun thing can we do? Yeah. And then I'm going to also maybe work on what do I need to do to not bring work home with me.
It's so great, too, because the more you practice this principle,
yes,
you'll even be able to be like, if your partner's like starting to talk about something really serious, and you'd be like, there's been a point once where I just looked at Aaron and I was like, I actually I'm like super stressed right now.
I can't. Yes. Yeah. So catching it before the harm happens.
Yes. And I'm like, I'm totally maxed out.
Yeah.
And like, this is my plan to be unmaxed, right? Like you can build your own plan.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, like I can't even touch this topic right now.
Yeah.
Because I will act poorly.
Oh, I love this.
Like I'm close to dysregulation.
Getting so good at this that you see it coming and can halt it there.
Yeah. And to the point, you're timing out. Yeah. You're not even, like, and you will always, like, because that's what being in a relationship is. Sometimes there's, like, rocky points.
Of course.
But you can get to the point where you're, like, I tell Aaron sometimes, like, I don't even have words left. You know, like, after a really, if it's, like, a rough time, rough day, you know, and just, And
I wonder if that might even show... like your partner, like maybe they could do some halting stuff too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because obviously you've had something. Yeah. Right? check your halts. I'm going to go check my halts, and then let's come back together after we've...
Yeah, do some strategic planning.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
But I love
that.
I love the idea of halting and redoing being actually something kind of fun and exciting.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's not gonna come without work, right? Like, but there is something so beautiful.
Maybe write out what happened and play Hangman with that sentence.
I love that. Although, man, I gotta tell you, Hangman really freaks me out.
Well, you don't have to. Okay, you just call it something else. I give you that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not do that.
I was in a like a conference, and it's like these high pressure meetings that we run, and it's like a co-design, so you need everybody's like buy-in. Yeah. And someone was like had been playing Hangman in the corner and just left like the news thing up there. And I was like, the second break time. I can't, I hate it. I hate it so much. Just violence in the corner.
How about, it's not Hangman.
Okay.
But how about we are creating a bouquet?
Okay.
You should add a flower to the vase. Oh. Once your bouquet's full, you've lost the game, but you've won flowers. Okay. I'm in. Okay. Finding any way to make things positive, especially mental health growth. # I'm in. I'm in. Just no question. Yeah. If I ever get presented with Hangman again, I'm going to make it a bouquet of flowers. You're going to say, no. Excuse me. No, thank you. What shape vase are we going with? Ooh, for this game? A nice color. Right? Yeah. I need a pretty vase. Yeah. Yeah, some like nice amber. Because same glass. Idea, right? Mm-hmm. You just need something to put somewhere if you get the wrong letter. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's a fun way. I love that. Do you think that might be a hard reminder for the other person? What? Like, because you put a flower in the vase every time you kind of mess up, right? Yeah. Just in the game. Oh, okay. No, I think it'd be a fun way. Okay, we'll go back to the PlayStation. Let's round this back around I'm coming before back. We end up, right? Yeah. So, I'm angry about the PlayStation, right? Why did you spend that much money when we have other things, right? Yeah. I go calm myself down so I can have a rational conversation. Love it. He's halting himself on the PlayStation, so I guess that works. That's actually very cute. I love this. Mm-hmm. But, okay, so I'm calm, and I come back to redo the conversation, right? And I think what I meant to say was we need to talk about purchases over a certain amount, right? Fair. Totally fair. But so what I do to have fun with this is Hangman talk to each other about purchases over $100. This is actually pretty cute. So it's long, but we're adults. We can play a long game, right? Mm-hmm. And then that's how we get to our thing. You hate this. Okay. I do hate it. I really, really hate it. I feel like if Aaron tried this on me, actually, maybe I would think it was pretty funny. I'm just trying. Man. But you're both regulated now. You've both done your work. So do you still find it annoying? Maybe only because I struggle with anxiety, and I'm like, now that I'm at baseline, you just need to tell me what you want. Oh, gotcha. But that might be more of like a personal thing. Like, you know what I mean? Okay. Because I think I would, because I would still be a little bit, I'd be regulated, but more in business mode. How about, okay, tell me. You play the bouquet game for the fun thing you're going to do. Oh, like the name of the restaurant you're going to go to or something. I could totally after you've had the conversation. See, that's where, because I think to me, like, I still want to have the conversation fully serious, fully aware, no jokes, but regulated and, like, it's almost like making a deal, like, and acting and absorbing it totally appropriately. And then I want the redo to still be totally, in my mind, totally serious, totally grounded. But then, like, maybe the reparations are more the fun part. Okay. That's I guess, more what I'm thinking. And I think you have to decide in that relationship. Honestly, I think question. That game would work really well for Jerry. That's super cute. Actually, I kind of love that. Like, he does not do well with conversations. Yeah. He's like, okay, well, what's the new thing then? Well, and I think, too, that has to do with, like, I think that's probably one of the coolest ways you could do that, especially for someone because... I mean, he's catching up, but he's got a little bit of that brain injury processing speed. So
I actually think that's perfect per your scenario, but I think the inverse, if you struggle with anxiety, that
would not work. Yeah.
I'd be like, just fucking tell me what you want, you know, like, and now all of a sudden I'm dysregulated again. So, like, I think it is a couple's choice. It is per what is working for you guys. And it's cute. You found something that worked really well.
I could also see some couples needing, like, maybe you, like, physically need to do something with your body while you're doing it.
Yep,
like, maybe you go on a walk and talk about it, or you do a little dance party while you're talking about it.
Yep. Yes.
Like, physically.
Yes. Yep.
You gotta, I mean, and that all comes back to, right, whole nother episode, communication styles. Like, how do you need to do that with each other? It doesn't have to be another sit-down, intense conversation.
Yeah.
If that's what you need, that's what you need, right? But knowing that about your person is like, okay, I've regulated myself. Let's go on a walk together and talk about this, because that's going to be the best option for both of us. Love it.
I love, and it is, redos, especially in interpersonal relationships, do have to do with what is working for you guys. Like, I could see you got to have a really intense conversation. Each time, maybe a good way to put pauses in, if you're both, like, pretty physically, like, maybe have, like, some hyperactivity tendencies. Yeah. You got to do 3 burpees before you even respond.
And I think that's why we're saying why we think redo is fun. It's this opportunity to explore and be creative if you want to. Yes. Because it's kind of safe, right? It's because it's that connection with that person. Yep. It's safe to kind of be like, okay, how can I fix this in a different way?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ooh, I love it. Redo is our new favorite thing. #redo. And look for the merch.
I love that, like, there is so much that's special and unique to couples and how they process together. That's beautiful.
And it's okay to explore that.
Yes.
And trial, it is all about trial and error.
Yep.
Try stuff.
Redo.
Try more stuff.
Redo.
Yeah.
Redo. Yeah. Yeah, because this isn't about the relationship ending. This is about staying in it.
Yeah.
And that's really pretty.
And those are all going to be tools. You know what I mean? Different tools for different scenarios.
Mm-hmm. Maybe you have a library cart of well-organized, beautiful sticky notes.
Yeah. Yeah. That's me.
Maybe you got, like, a sick bandolier.
That's you.
Some just, probably, like, definitely a thigh strap
thing. Oh, of course you do. Of course you do.
I'm like out there like Tomb Raider with mental health skills. Yeah. Mental health skills. That's my goal. And then I take a bandana and I tie it around and it just says, like, meditate.
And then you just got like glitter joy bombs.
Oh, hell
pull
yeah.
The pin out.
Little dance party. I don't know if anyone here has ever played Fortnite, but they used to have, and they'll bring it out of the vault occasionally. I have nephews, 12 of them. So I know how to play Fortnite.
Yes,
really
you do.
Effing well.
You're really good.
But they're little dance bombs, and you can throw them at people, and what happens is they dance when it hits the ground, which means they can't access any of their guns. It's actually fantastic. It's very fun. And hilarious. So I got some of those. I'm diffusing fights with them. Yeah, I would say, my character is very Fortnite-y. My mental health character. I love that, yeah. But on that note, we should probably wrap because we're at 43, which seems to be our sweet spot. But I really do hope, listeners, you've had fun, first of all, and that you've maybe taken some skills and ideas to build towards this redo concept where correction doesn't ever happen without connection. In fact, correction is about deepening that connection.
Yep.
And what you say to other people when you ask for a redo and when they do the same for you. And what that means. Like, that's a huge, beautiful relationship.
Yes.
So, I had fun today. Redos are one of my favorite topics. And I love the idea that you brought in about, like, it can be fun and creative and this beautiful experience to share.
In truly secure connections, yeah.
Hashtag throwback to attachment styles. We're just like, it's all connected, so it makes our throwbacks pretty easy.
Yeah. And or knowing when to walk away. If this is not happening in a relationship with you, you are worth, I don't like walking away, but you are worth stepping kind of out of that for a while, right?
Yeah, got to put those boundaries up.
Yeah.
You're
worth it.
Worth it. Yes. Well, I think
so good.
That I mean, we'll have plenty more, and
I'm all jazzed up.
A bunch of throwbacks to redos. But I'm so glad you're spending time with us. If you have an aha moment, or even I would love to hear a beautiful story of a redo.
Oh,
that would warm my heart. But reach out to friends.onechat@gmail.com.
Yep.
And then our website is twofriendsonechat.com. We're also Two Friends One Chat on Insta
and Facebook. You can message me on there.
Oh yeah, please do reach out.
Yes.
And
like, rate, and subscribe.
Oh, thank you.
Subscribe, rate, whatever order you do them in. Do that.
Yep.
And share. Yeah. Share this with people that you think might benefit from it, or that should listen to it, or that think it would be funny. Yep. Whatever.
And I will say, I'm glad you said that, because a 5-star rating goes a long way. That's
huge.
That's how we can build the podcast and start like putting in some like more permanent resources. So we appreciate your time. We're so grateful, and reach out.
Yep.
And have the best whatever time of day it is for you.
Yeah.
Or night.
Take a second and halt yourself.
Oh, I do love that.
See what's going on.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Snack for me.
I need some water.
Okay.
Water.
That's hunger. We'll put that in the hunger category.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Well, okay.
All right.
We love you. Bye.
Bye.